Welcome to Football with Cheese. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. So today on the channel, we're going to go over a few odds and ends, including Myles Garrett, Kupp, officiating news. We have a Cam Ward prospect video coming and the Super Bowl previews. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the bell so you never miss a video. You never know when I'm going to pop on. So let's talk about Myles Garrett. He has requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. If you don't know, the Browns had a bad year. They're picking second in the draft. So they were the second worst team as far as record goes. The year before, the Browns actually made the playoffs. So their roster, if you take away the quarterback, it's not bad, but it's not great. So I do think they underachieved this year and probably overachieved the year before. But they have one of the worst quarterback situations in the NFL and one of the worst cap situations in the NFL. That's salary cap. The Saints and Browns, boy, I don't know who manages their salary caps, but it's a disaster. Trading for Deshaun Watson, giving up all those picks, and then giving him that contract, $250 guaranteed, is about as bad as any football move in NFL history. It's turned out to be a complete and total disaster. And trading Myles Garrett, first of all, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And here's why. First of all, you cannot get value in draft picks for a player that impactful. He's one of the best players in the NFL. He's one of the best pass rushers I have ever seen. He changes the whole game. You have to know where he is at all times when you're scheming to play the Browns. Your whole game plan on offense will have to revolve around him. We cannot let him just sack and pressure a quarterback all game. So if someone offered 2 first-round picks, that's not enough. But no one's going to offer more than that. They can't give up more than that. You can't give 3 first-round picks for a non-quarterback. So they won't get the value back for that kind of player. To trade a superstar like that, you're just not going to get the value back in draft picks. Even if the Titans offered the first pick in this draft, and they'd have the Browns pick second, so they had the first 2 picks, that wouldn't be enough. Because you're not going to get a Myles Garrett picking first in this draft. There's just no player worth that. There's no Aiden Hutchinson up there. There's no Myles Garrett. So that's reason 1. Reason 2, their salary cap situation is so bad that if they traded Myles Garrett, they would have to eat $16 million in dead cap. They're already $30 million over the cap. That would put them 46 over. And they don't have a lot of ways to get under. Even if they release Jack Conklin with a post-June 1st designation, that would only save $14 million. Post-1st designation means you can spread the cap hit over 2 years. So you wouldn't have all the dead money this year. But that's not even going to be close to enough. The Browns actually need to probably extend Myles Garrett to get under the cap. Because trading him would make your cap situation worse. I'm not a salary cap expert, so there may be some crazy way you can trade him and the other team signs into an extension and it helps your cap. I think the Packers and the Jets did something similar with Aaron Rodgers, so there might be something you can do, but I don't think so. So it's just not going to happen. But even if the Browns decide, okay, we'll trade him, the teams that Garrett want to go to aren't picking high in the draft. They're contenders. So they're picking later on in the draft. I heard someone mention maybe the Bears. He's not going to the Bears. They're not a good team. He's not going there. He's not going to be a contender if he goes to the Bears. The Bears are not going to contend for a Super Bowl next year. So it doesn't make any sense. Someone mentioned Washington. They have all this cap room to sign him. That's fine. They're not picking high. So the Browns can't take 2 first-round picks from Washington because those are late first-round picks. So it's just not going to work out. He's not going to be traded. He's just going to have to suck it up. He's got 2 years left on his contract. They might be able to move him next year, but it's not happening this year. So if your team needs a pass rusher and you're like, oh, let's just trade for Myles Garrett, it's not going to happen. Don't get your hopes up. Focus on pass rushers in the draft and free agency because he's not going to be on your team. He's going to be a Brown. And then Cooper Kupp. He is not going to be a Ram next year, and it's a shame. He's a great player. He was a Super Bowl MVP when they won 3 years ago. I understand why they're moving on. I wouldn't. But his cap number is 29.7 next year. 7.5 million, which is guaranteed in a roster bonus. And Cooper Kupp, he has trouble staying healthy. He does. And he's not the player he once was, but he's still very good. And they have Puka Nacua, who's one of the best receivers in the NFL. We talked about him in the last video. Incredible player, so they're going to focus their offense more around him. But the Rams, unlike the Browns, the Rams don't have a bad salary cap situation. So they can eat some money to trade Cooper Kupp. Because no one's going to want Cooper Kupp with that much money, that much of a cap hit. He also has 2 years left on his contract. But he's a really good wide receiver. He's a great route runner. And there are teams that need a veteran receiver in their room. The Bills and Packers come to mind. Would be really good fits for someone like Cooper Kupp. But the Rams, according to overthecap.com, are $38 million under the cap. So they're not in bad cap situation. The Rams probably want to get younger at the position. And they probably want to use the money saved trading Kupp to extend some younger players. There was a rumor that they shopped Cooper Kupp in the middle of the season, right before the trade deadline. But they were asking for way too much. The rumor was a second-round pick, and teams just aren't going to do that for a receiver over 30 who's had injury issues, has trouble staying on the field for a whole season. So at this point, they're not going to get a lot for him. But I think this is more about just saving money and using it on younger players. The last thing I want to talk about is Scott Green is the NFL Referee Association Executive Director. He came out and said, and I quote, "It is insulting and preposterous to hear conspiracy theorists that somehow 17 officiating crews consisting of 138 officials are colluding to assist one team." I agree. It's not all 138 officials. It's not. We've talked about this on the channel. Certain referees, umpires, line judges, back judges don't look like they're helping the Chiefs at all. But some do, and there's evidence to that. And I have videos. We have videos going over those. The fact that he brought up conspiracy theorists and said that, for those of you who don't know, the CIA invented the term conspiracy theorist because people did question the JFK assassination, and the people turned out to be right. The conspiracy theorists turned out to be right. When you call someone conspiracy theorist, you're trying to belittle them. You're trying to make them seem like, oh, they're idiots. Don't even listen to them. To distract from what is really happening. So when anyone brings up and calls someone a conspiracy theorist for believing something, that makes me think there's some truth to it. What Scott Green was trying to say was, you people are idiots for thinking that the referees are helping the Chiefs at all. He's basically trying to distract from that by calling the people saying it a name, conspiracy theorist. That's what he's trying to do. The fact that Scott Green had to come out and talk about this, even make a statement, is very telling. If I was him, I would have just ignored it. And the fact that he made a statement tells me there's some truth. And the fact that he called people conspiracy theorists. He basically called Bills fans, Texans fans, Vikings fans, whoever got screwed in those games. He's calling them conspiracy theorists. He's trying to belittle their concern and call them names. That's very telling. So, make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Share this with anyone who loves football so we can grow the channel. I will link the 2 videos going over the Chiefs recaps with a ton of evidence, videos in the bios. They should appear in these boxes right up here. So click on those if you want to learn more about the preferential treatment for the Chiefs. All right, and I'll see you in the next video.